A sense of curiosity has swept through the support as fresh signs from inside Ibrox point to something unexpected unfolding behind the scenes. It feels as though a quiet shift is taking place, the kind of change that seems minor at first glance but can end up shaping the way the club organizes itself for the months ahead. The uncertainty has not crept in slowly. It arrived all at once, sharp enough to make everyone sit up and pay attention, wondering how these internal movements might impact both the squad and the structure that keeps the day-to-day work running. The possibility of a sudden exit has reopened discussions many thought had been settled, creating room for new scenarios and putting Rangers in a position where careful planning, quick decisions, and patience all need to coexist. It is one of those moments where it becomes clear that the coming weeks could reshape priorities as the team steps into a crucial stretch of the season. Amid all of this, one situation in particular has regained strength: the chance of the club recalling young Oscar Cortez when January arrives. The Colombian winger, sent to Spanish football to build rhythm and gain minutes after a spell troubled by injuries, has experienced something far removed from what Rangers initially imagined. When he joined the side in the Spanish second tier, the intention was straightforward. The loan was meant to give him consistent football, allow him to grow in confidence, and protect the value of a player Rangers identified as part of their long-term plans. Instead, the reality has been the complete opposite. Rather than getting regular action, Cortez has barely featured, collecting only a handful of appearances and rarely being on the pitch long enough to show what he is capable of. His single league start ended with him substituted before the second half even began, and things have not improved since then. This lack of opportunities, paired with the risk of his value dropping, has forced Rangers to rethink the strategy. A young player needs minutes to develop, and leaving him on the fringes in a competitive league where he is not being used could work against everything the club hopes to build with him. Inside Ibrox, the conversation now leans towards a very real possibility: cutting the loan short and finding a club where he will actually play. The decision, of course, involves more than just Rangers. There are three sides to the situation, each with its own interests. The Spanish side would need to replace him, the player would need to agree to a move, and Rangers would have to choose a destination where he genuinely fits into the plans. What is clear is that he is unlikely to be immediately integrated into Danny Röhl's main squad, as the manager has other priorities for the remainder of the season and views Cortez as someone to be developed calmly rather than rushed in without preparation. While that unfolds, another storyline is beginning to take shape. Nadim Bahami, once considered close to leaving under the previous regime, now finds himself in a very different place. Röhl's arrival has opened a door that seemed firmly shut not long ago. The manager has praised his standards in training, highlighted the spark he brings when he steps onto the pitch, and made it clear that more minutes could come if the midfielder continues on this path. That shift has given Bahami a renewed sense of purpose, something that was especially evident in the 2-1 win against Livingston, when his introduction gave the midfield an injection of energy and pushed the team higher up the park. Even so, the situation remains fragile. January is fast approaching, and Rangers, aware of the need to balance the squad, are keeping every option open. The club sees potential for Bahami to grow into a more important role, but they also know that an opportunity elsewhere might make sense if the right offer appears. There is a fine line between investing in the player's development and recognizing that he might need consistent football to continue progressing. Röhl, who plans to reshape the squad across the coming windows, has been very clear that he wants players suited to his style and his tactical demands. That means some individuals will have to fight harder than ever for their place, and Bahami sits firmly within that group. The message inside the dressing room has been straightforward. Anyone who wants a place must earn it. Nothing is guaranteed. Since taking charge, Röhl has pushed for a competitive environment, one where every position is contested day after day. For Bahami, it creates a mix of opportunity and pressure. If he keeps his level high, he will gain more chances. If he dips, the club will not hesitate to consider interest from elsewhere. It is a delicate balance, but it reflects the new phase Rangers are stepping into, one built around merit and accountability rather than comfort or expectation. All of this takes place within a wider process of internal restructuring, which has entered another significant chapter. The departure of sporting director Kevin Thelwell has opened a fresh stage in the club's football model, something that had already been a point of debate due to growing frustration over recruitment and long-term planning. The search for a replacement includes experienced figures from both within the club and beyond, with discussions ranging from former players to seasoned operators who have spent years building academy systems and football departments. Some names have surprised supporters, while others seem suited to what Rangers need most right now: stability, a long-term vision, and the ability to fix issues that have held the club back. These changes have also affected the academy, which had been set to welcome Jonathan Hunter-Barrett as its new leader. All signs pointed to him taking charge at the start of the new year, guiding the youth structure under the club's refreshed football framework. Then, unexpectedly, everything shifted. The agreement that once looked certain dissolved, and Hunter-Barrett chose to remain at Wolves, where he is expected to take on a new role. It leaves Rangers still fine-tuning their internal organization while maintaining focus on the senior squad and the challenges waiting on the pitch. As the weeks roll on, the atmosphere around Ibrox has taken on a strange mix of urgency and opportunity, with every department of the club adjusting to changes that only seemed like distant possibilities not long ago. What started as quiet movement behind closed doors has turned into a full-scale reassessment of how Rangers want to position themselves for the future, both on the park and in the structure that supports the squad. For supporters, it has created that familiar feeling of living in two timelines at once. The demand for results right now and the understanding that some of these shifts are designed for the longer journey. Every announcement, every rumor, and every internal decision now feels connected to a broader plan that is slowly revealing itself piece by piece. One of the clearest signs of this new direction is the way the first-team environment has evolved under Danny Röhl. The German coach has made it obvious from the start that he is building a culture driven by intensity, daily improvement, and accountability. Training sessions have increased in tempo, players speak openly about higher standards, and even those not playing regularly talk about how demanding the new regime has become. There is no sense of comfort for anyone, not even established members of the squad. Röhl wants a group where places are earned, not simply held by habit or reputation, and that has changed the dynamics in every area of the pitch. For some players, this shift has brought a new spark, a sense of opportunity that had been missing under the previous leadership. Younger members of the squad, in particular, have felt encouraged by the idea that performances in training genuinely influence team selection. Others, however, find themselves in a more delicate position, aware that the upcoming windows could bring decisions that affect their future. The message from the manager is that everyone starts with a clean slate, but the margins are tight and the expectations are high. It is not enough to simply do well. Players need to show they can sustain intensity, adapt to his tactical instructions, and contribute to a style of football that relies heavily on organization and discipline. This shift is also tied to the broader recruitment strategy, which is undergoing a detailed review. With Thelwell's departure leaving a gap in leadership, the club is carefully examining how past decisions were made, which processes need improvement, and how future signings can align more closely with the identity Ruel is determined to build. Rangers have reached a point where every incoming player must fit, not only in terms of ability, but also mentality, physical profile, and adaptability. The days of bringing in players who do not quite match the overall structure appear to be coming to an end, replaced by a more precise and methodical approach. It is within this context that the discussions around several squad members have intensified. Those on the fringes know that the next few months are crucial. Some, like Bahami, have caught the manager's eye by responding impressively in training, while others face tougher conversations about their future. The club wants depth, but it wants depth that can actually be relied upon. The idea of carrying players who are unlikely to influence the season has lost its appeal, especially now that the team is expected to challenge in multiple competitions while also preparing for significant long-term changes. Behind the scenes, the academy structure is another area receiving considerable attention, with Hunter Barrett no longer joining and the leadership path shifting once again. Rangers are carefully considering how to maintain continuity while still modernizing the youth system. The importance of the academy has been stressed repeatedly in recent years, but this moment of transition has highlighted just how vital it is to have the right leadership in place. The club wants a pathway that is consistent, ambitious, and capable of producing players who can genuinely push for first-team involvement. That means improving coaching methods, enhancing scouting within younger age groups, and ensuring that the philosophy of the academy matches what Ruel expects at senior level. Supporters understand how crucial this alignment is. Rangers are at their strongest when the identity is clear from top to bottom, when the youngsters coming through already resemble the style of the first team. In the past, there have been moments where that connection felt loose, where talented players struggled to make the jump because the step between youth and senior football felt too steep. Now, the aim is to narrow that gap, to create a system where promising players can transition more naturally and where the club can rely on homegrown talent far more effectively. These internal shifts are happening while the team continues to navigate a demanding run of fixtures on the park. Every match brings its own pressures, its own narratives, and its own expectations. The support wants consistency, wants a team that shows hunger and control from the first whistle to the last. And Ruel has made it clear that he shares those demands. But it is also a period where the squad is learning new patterns, absorbing new instructions, and adjusting to a style of play that asks far more of them physically and mentally. The growing pains are visible at times, but so too are the signs of progress. The team is pressing higher, recovering the ball quicker, and showing more structure in transition, all trademarks of the manager's philosophy. There is also a growing awareness that the spine of the squad will need a strengthening in the coming windows. Certain positions have been stretched thin, while others have lacked the kind of competition that pushes players to their peak. Royal has highlighted this repeatedly in internal meetings, not as criticism of the current squad, but as recognition that to play the football he wants, the group must expand in key areas. Rangers cannot rely on the same handful of names every week if they want to compete on multiple fronts with consistency and authority. The supporters sense a turning point. The atmosphere around the club is different from what it was a few months ago. There is more scrutiny, yes, but there is also more hope, more confidence that the changes being made are deliberate rather than reactive. The conversations among fans, whether in the stands, in the pubs, or online, have shifted from pure frustration to curiosity about what is coming next. They know the rebuild will not be finished overnight, but they also recognize that the foundations are being laid with more care than some of the recent attempts. What ties everything together is the understanding that Rangers are entering a new era, not just in terms of management, but in identity, planning, and direction. Every decision, from recalling a young winger to establishing the next academy head, is part of a puzzle that the club is assembling step by step. It is a process that will require patience, investment, and unwavering standards, and it will almost certainly bring moments of difficulty along the way, but it is also a process that gives Rangers the chance to redefine who they are and where they want to go, both in Scotland and beyond. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to get all the exclusive news about Rangers FC. Don't overlook any details about your beloved team. It's crucial for Rangers FC fans. Whispers ripple through Govan like a gale off the Clyde, and every one of them carries the same name, Billy Gilmour, the prodigal midfielder, once a bright spark in the Rangers Academy before venturing south, has now been unveiled back at Ibrox, though the club, as usual, keeps its cards close to the chest. Still, the chatter swirling around Edmiston Drive paints a picture of a lad stepping into the center of the park with something close to total command. Supporters milling outside the stadium swear they caught a glimpse of him during the presentation, shoulders relaxed, grin sharp as if he'd never really been away. Inside, folks claim the coaching staff were only hinting, that Gilmore might be handed the keys to the midfield, free to dictate the tempo in a way few players at the club have managed for years. Whether that's wishful thinking or inside knowledge is anyone's guess, but the rumor mill is spinning fast enough to light up the city. Some insist the move signals a shift in the club's footballing identity, a return to a more fluid, assertive style that demands a conductor rather than just another pair of legs. Others whisper that Gilmore himself pushed for a role with full autonomy, wanting to prove he's grown from academy prospect into a true midfield general. And then there are the murmurs, quiet, breathless, that his arrival may shake up the existing hierarchy in the dressing room. No one's saying it out loud yet, but there's a feeling, almost a tremor, that this could be more than a signing. It could be a statement. As the faithful file past the Copland Road stand, trading rumors like matchday badges, one thing becomes clear: expectations are rising and fast. Billy Gilmore has come home, and whether by design or by destiny, it sounds as though the heartbeat of Rangers may soon thump to his rhythm. Greetings, fans. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, as it's greatly appreciated by Rangers FC. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments section below. Until the next video, stay tuned